Oh, 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 no.
I don't need negative energy, wrap me in positive synergy. I have been doubted through life, been never done it with trifling people who told me my style will not work. I told them they wrong, they're struggling too long. This song is for you, I'm proving you wrong.
Get out my way, get out my way, get out my way, get out my way.
I'm a genuine person. Like, if I love you, I love you. If I don't mess with you, I don't mess with you. It's as simple as that.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up, y'all? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? This is your boy, Atmos Lover. Welcome to Atmosville, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all know what we about to do. We about to pick up where we left off yesterday. As y'all know, we get straight to it. We get straight to the beeswax. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I am going to have my illustrious partner in crime come on up in here and read with us today. Tanya, okay, you ready? Great. Let me go ahead and I think I pinned it to the top. Just go ahead and hit the link, Tanya. You know what to do. And then we are going to go ahead and get started with this, y'all. How is everyone doing on this evening? Hopefully y'all are having a great evening. Let me pull this up real quick. Here we go. We're going to pick up right where we left off, y'all. Yesterday we stopped at page 46 right there at the legal standard. And let's see here. Tanya, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, as usual.
Yeah.
Sorry I missed yesterday,
No,
but I watched it.
You're good. I appreciate you. Who we got up in here with us today? K-Love92. What's going on? Listening from the bushes. That's okay. Latrice B. Hello. Lasting impression by Kim. Hey, how are you? Lesmit 1. How are you? Thank you. All right. I caught it live. Yes, you did. Welcome in. Missy Country Bay. What's going on, Missy? What's going on? D. Michelle. Hey, how are you? How are you? Indigo. Hello. Let me see. Let me make sure. I think I got everybody. Okay. Awesome. 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 You know what? Oh, there's more people. Okay. D. Michelle. I got D. Michelle already. Cassandra. How are you, Cassandra? Junil. How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. What's up, Candy? How are you? Thank you for coming in. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Tanya, what I'll do, I'll go ahead and pick up where I left off yesterday. We left off on 46. Can you see the screen?
I can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Make sure I didn't. Love is fair. What's up, my brother? How you doing? Hey, Candy, how are you? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna start with legal standard. In analyzing a defendant's Rule 29 motion, the court must view the evidence in the light most favorable to the government, drawing all inferences in the government's favor and deferring to the jury's assessments of witnesses' credibility. United States versus Sabanani case law. It says it assesses of witness credibility and choices between competing inferences lie solely within the province of the jury. In undertaking this review, the court considers the government's case in its totality rather than in its parts, mindful that the sufficiency test may be satisfied by circumstantial evidence alone. United States versus Hawkins. There's some more case law. Following this review, the court must affirm the conviction if any rational tier of fact could have found the essential elements of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. More case law. The racketeering conviction was sound. It says Kelly raises several challenges to the propriety of his RICO conviction. He argues that the government did not prove, number one, that the enterprise existed. Are you freaking serious right now? Really? Number two, that the enterprise affected interstate or foreign commerce. Or three, a pattern of racketeering activity. He is wrong in all aspects. Yes, he is.
They're not kidding you right there.
They're not wrong. They're not kidding right there. A, the government adduced sufficient, that's a new word, adduced sufficient evidence of an enterprise. Kelly argues that the government failed to prove an enterprise because one, the enterprise proved by the government lacked a common purpose. Two, the enterprise was not distinct from its racketeering activities. And three, the enterprise was not distinct from Kelly alone. Each of those arguments is without merit. Applicable law. The RICO statute provides that its terms are to be liberally construed to effectuate its remedial purposes. More case law. Quoting, under the RICO statute, an enterprise is defined to include any union or group of individuals associated in fact, although not a legal entity. More case law. In Boyd, a 2009 case rejecting a challenge to a substantive RICO conviction in this district, the Supreme Court held that to sustain a RICO conviction, an association in fact enterprise must have at least three structural features: a purpose, relationships among those associated with the enterprise, and longevity sufficient to permit these associates to pursue the enterprise's purpose. They cite more case law. Observing the statutory definition of enterprise does not specifically define the outer boundaries of the enterprise concept, and the definition is obviously broad and has a wide reach. An enterprise does not require a hierarchy or regular meetings regarding enterprise affairs, or a set membership, or an established rules. More case law. It says an association, in fact, enterprise is simply a continuing unit that functions with a common purpose, which all of them did. Okay. It says an enterprise may exist even if its members changes over time. More case law. It says existence of the enterprise not defeated by charges in membership. Ruling that an internal dispute over control of the enterprise did not signal the end of an enterprise. More case law. An association, in fact, enterprise continues to exist even if it undergoes change in leadership. More case law. Upholding instruction that membership in an enterprise may change over time. Number two, members of the enterprise shared a common purpose to engage in course of conduct. Kelly argues that the government's proof at trial lacked a showing that members of an alleged enterprise shared a common purpose. They also show you here, motion 6 and 9. He is wrong. As described above, the government elicited hours of testimony by members of Kelly's inner circle who told the jury who they worked tirelessly to promote Kelly's music and to meet his personal needs. Tom Arnold and Diana Copeland each testified about the expansive duties Kelly expected each to perform. They variously testified that they set up business meetings for Kelly, arranged tour dates, shuttled Kelly's female guest, and made travel reservations for Kelly's female guest and performed miscellaneous errands for Kelly. Anthony Navarro and Nicholas Williams testified about their roles as runners for Kelly in the mid to late 2000s, which included basic tasks around the studio and assisting the engineers who assisted in Kelly's music, as well as answering phone calls from Kelly's female guest, bringing food to his female guest, and even picking up herpes medicine for Kelly. Hot damn. Whoo. Tune. What up, Tune? Hey, Just V. Did you, hey, Jazzy Cuteness. Did they really put that in there? Hold up. You want to talk about the shade? Did they really just put in here?
They slid that right in. At the end.
Let me do a little. Let me go back a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Says here, in the late 2000s, which included basic tasks around the studio and assisting the engineers who assisted in Kelly's music, as well as answering phone calls from Kelly's female guest, bringing food to his female guest, and even picking up herpes medication for Kelly. Hey,
I heard you work for R. Kelly. Yeah. Well, what do you do for him? I grab his herpes meds.
I am weak as hell right now. Okay, let me keep going.
Okay.
Cheryl Mack, Alicette Mayweather, and Suzette Mayweather testified about their roles. Tears! What up, Tears? Shaw Baby, what's up? Testified about their roles as personal assistants for Kelly in the 2010s, which variously included arranging travel for Kelly's female guest, ordering food for Kelly and his guest, and hold on, let me see something. Oh, okay, that was okay.
I got kicked out somehow. I don't know.
Oh, you did? Okay, you back? Okay.
But I'm back. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. That's okay. Let me go back over here. All right. Female guest ordering food for Kelly and his guest and accompanying Kelly's female guests to malls, salons, and Kelly's concerts. Many testified how Kelly fined them if they failed in Kelly's eyes, to the extent that Kelly argues that proof of an enterprise requires that members of an enterprise share a common purpose of criminality, rather than a common purpose of engaging in a particular course of action. He is wrong. In support of his argument, Kelly cites to language in First Capital Access Management. That was that case law. That drove me freaking crazy. That individuals must share a common purpose to engage in a particular fraudulent course of conduct to work together to achieve such purposes. Kelly uses this language out of context. The language in Satinwood was adopted from the opinion of the district court, more case law. A closer look at Mall and the cases cited by the district court in Mall shows there that the defendants argue that the alleged enterprise essentially overlapped with the pattern of racketeering. Now, in Mall, the defendant argued that the plaintiff had not sufficiently proved that an amorphous group of real estate attorneys and other individuals engaged in the real estate settlement industry in New York constituting an enterprise or otherwise engaged in common purpose beyond the alleged pattern of racketeering activity. More case law. The Mall Court explained that to be an enterprise, the group must have a common purpose of engaging in a course of conduct. That, of course, is the standard for an enterprise. And it does not require that the enterprise be grounded in criminality. But in Mall, the cases cited in Mall, the common purpose was the alleged course of fraud, leading to Mall Court to use the language cited by Kelly. Notwithstanding the language used in Mall and cited by Kelly, it is well established that an enterprise may have a common purpose of engaging in a wholly legitimate course of conduct, and there is no requirement whatsoever that the enterprise members have a common purpose of fraud or any other criminality. Indeed, although RICO does not specifically define the outer boundaries of the enterprise concept, it is clear that any legal entity may qualify as a RICO enterprise. Citation and internal quotation marks omitted. The enterprise alleged by the government and found proven by the jury was one comprised of an inner circle who shared a common purpose of engaging in a course of conduct. That common purpose was largely not criminal. We understand that a enterprise does not have to be committing crimes, right? It can be a enterprise can be people just coming together for pretty much anything, right? It says the inner circle worked together to promote Kelly's music and his brand and to meet his personal needs, which included recruiting women and girls. Viewing the evidence in the light most favorable to the government, as the court must, in evaluating a Rule 29 motion, the evidence of an enterprise as required for a RICO violation was more than sufficient. Number 3, the enterprise was distinct from its racketeering activities. Kelly contends that the government failed to introduce evidence showing that the enterprise was distinct from the racketeering activities. In so arguing, Kelly again misconstrues what the government is required to prove. It is true that the government must prove both the enterprise and the pattern of racketeering activity, and that proof of one does not necessarily establish the other. More case law. For example, if several individuals independently and without coordination engaged in a pattern of RICO predicate offenses, proof of these patterns would not be enough to show that the individuals were members of an enterprise. More case law. However, that they are separate elements does not mean that the existence of an enterprise may never be inferred from the evidence showing that persons associated with the enterprise engaged in a pattern of racketeering activity. On this point, the court reiterated its conclusion that it made in Turkett that proof of a pattern of racketeering activity may be sufficient in a particular case to permit a jury to infer the existence of an association, in fact, enterprise. In any event, as set forth above, the government adduced sufficient evidence of an enterprise and set forth in great detail below. The government adduced sufficient evidence of the pattern of racketeering. Therefore, Kelly's argument fails. I'll let you jump in.
Can I just say I love when they say that? Kelly's argument fails.
Yes, fails.
All right. In support of his argument, Kelly cites without discussion 2 cases, case law, whatever.
Yep.
In Smith, the 10th Circuit wrote, it is not necessary to show that the enterprise has some function wholly unrelated to the racketeering activity, but rather that it has an existence beyond that which is necessary merely to commit each of the acts charged as predicate racketeering offenses. In Keltner, the 8th Circuit stated, our focus is to ensure that RICO severe penalties are limited to enterprises consisting of more than simple conspiracies to perpetrate the predicate acts of racketeering. Citation included, but both of these cases were decided before the Supreme Court's decision in Boyle, and to the extent that they are now in conflict with Boyle, they are no longer good law. The enterprise, number 4, the enterprise was distinct from Kelly. Kelly also asserts the government's proof of an enterprise failed because it did not demonstrate that Kelly was distinct from the enterprise. Again, he is wrong. At trial, the government offered evidence that Kelly surrounded himself with his inner circle, and Kelly and his inner circle together worked to promote his brand and to meet his personal needs. Because the enterprise comprised of Kelly and his inner circle consisted of more than just Kelly, and even more than just Kelly's employees, it is sufficiently distinct. Kelly's reliance on a series of cases where the defendant was a corporation is inapposite. For example, in case law, the defendant was a corporation, Marine Midland Bank, and the enterprise was the restructuring group. which consisted of bank employees acting in the course of their employment and on behalf of the corporation. The circuit court explained that where employees of a corporation associate together to commit a pattern of predicate acts in the course of their employment and on behalf of the corporation, the employees in association with the corporation do not form an enterprise distinct from the corporation. The second court responded, because the corporation can only function through its employees and agents, any act of the corporation can be viewed as an act of such an enterprise, and the enterprise is in reality no more than the defendant itself. In any event, the mere fact that Kelly, Atmos, in any event, the mere fact that Kelly engages employees is not a shield against a RICO conviction, notwithstanding the fact that Kelly may use his employees to carry out some of the alleged conduct. At trial, the government adduced, that is the new word, ample evidence that Kelly can and did, in fact, function separate and apart from his employees and agents. B, the enterprise affected interstate and foreign commerce. Kelly claims the government did not adduce sufficient evidence of the interstate commerce element and asserts that the government must offer proof beyond a reasonable doubt that the alleged racketeering activity affected interstate commerce. In fact, based on the plain...
Did I go too high? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
On the plain language of case law, the government may prove the interstate commerce element by showing either that the enterprise engaged in interstate or foreign commerce or that its activities affected interstate commerce. More case law, an enterprise engaged in interstate commerce is sufficient to prove the interstate nexus. Furthermore, the effect on the interstate commerce may be de minimis. See that case law. Upholding jury instruction that only a de minimis effect is needed and observing that Supreme Court's decision in case law did not alter the principle that where the type of activity at issue has been found by Congress to have a substantial connection with interstate commerce, the government need only prove that the individual subject transaction has a de minimis effect on interstate commerce. See that case law. Any other conduct having even a de minimis effect on interstate commerce suffices. Although only one was required, the proof adduced at trial easily was sufficient to prove that the enterprise itself was engaged in interstate commerce and that its activities affected interstate commerce. Furthermore, although only a de minimis effect is required, the effect was much more here. For a period of years, members of the enterprise regularly arranged travel throughout the country and internationally for Kelly, other members of the enterprise, and Kelly's victims and other female guests. Between 2003 and 2011, Kelly's employee Tom Arnold arranged travel for Kelly's female guests using a travel company, Preferred Travel, and by booking flights on Orbitz. Arnold traveled internationally with Kelly. Kelly's employee, Diana Copeland, arranged travel for Kelly's female guests. That alone is more than sufficient to prove this element. A corporation is generally engaged in commerce when it is itself directly engaged in the production, distribution, or acquisition of goods or services in interstate commerce.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
There was also evidence that Kelly used telephones to communicate with his victims who were located in different states, including Sonia, Alexis, Jane, Faith, and Anna. Similarly, members of Kelly's inner circle, including Diana Copeland, Alizette Mayweather, Suzette Mayweather, and Cheryl Mack, communicated by telephone with Kelly's female guest. It says here, Copeland received text messages from Kelly's guest. Use of instrumentally of commerce, such as telephone lines, is also generally viewed as an activity that affects interstate commerce because you're calling somebody across state lines. Hello. Okay, I'm back. Finding defendant's placement of out-of-state phone calls to be a connection with interstate commerce. Did I not just say that, Tanya?
Ding, 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 ding.
Good grief. Finding effect on interstate commerce based on the use of interstate telephone calls to verify credit card transactions. Similarly, in Illinois and around the country, Kelly regularly used iPads, Canon cameras, and VHS tapes, all of which were manufactured outside of Illinois, to the extent that Kelly intended to assert a constitutional challenge to RICO. One has not properly been presented. Kelly similarly writes, without citation to any case, the de minimis effect approach here amounts to an unconstitutional extension of Congress's commerce power and is contrary to RICO's distinctly economic legislative history. There is not that alone is not sufficient to raise a constitutional challenge. Okay, it says here, issues averted to an perfunctory matter. All right, go ahead and go. I gotta take this call real quick. Go ahead, Chan.
Yep. In a perfunctory manner, unaccompanied by some effort at developed argumentation, are deemed waived. Internal quotation marks omitted. In any event, such a challenge would fail. RICO constitutes a valid exercise of Commerce Clause powers on its face and as applied here. We'll just have to pause 1 second, guys, because I can't scroll up for Atmos. I might be able to get mine, though. Hold on 1 second.
I'm sorry, I'm back. Okay, where'd you stop?
I couldn't scroll up, so I told them that we would just have to pause, and then I pulled mine open, but you were faster.
Okay, great. Where'd you stop at?
So C.
Okay, hold on.
Unless, did you just move it?
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead and just keep reading. I'll catch up with you wherever you were.
All right, I think we were. Well, now you moved it, so I'm just going to say.
Oh, I got it. Okay. There was sufficient evidence of a pattern of racketeering activity. Kelly challenges the sufficiency of the racketeering conviction by arguing that there was insufficient evidence of each of the predicate racketeering acts that the jury found proven. As described below, there was sufficient evidence of each predicate racketeering act. However, even assuming arguendo that there was not sufficient evidence of a particular racketeering act, the conviction would stand so long as there remained sufficient evidence of two predicate racketeering acts, including one within 5 years of the indictment, racketeering acts 8 to 14, and one within 10 years of the most recent racketeering act, racketeering over there. Okay. Racketeering acts 8 through 14, and one within 10 years of the most recent racketeering act, racketeering acts 5 and 5 to 13. Defining pattern racketeering activity as requiring as two acts of racketeering activity, one of which occurred after the effective date of this chapter, and the last of which occurred within 10 years, excluding any period of imprisonment after the commission of the prior act of racketeering activity. Bribery. Kelly asserts that the government failed to prove that he committed the crime of bribery as alleged in Racketeering Act 1. Specifically, Kelly claims that the record lacking evidence of Kelly's knowledge of how Smith obtained the fraudulent identification Kelly and Aaliyah used to obtain a marriage license by bribing an employee at a public aid office, Kelly further contends that the government failed to meet the relatedness and statutes of limitations standards under the RICO. Kelly is wrong on each of these fronts. The government presented ample, direct, and circumstantial evidence to prove Racketeering Act 1. As a preliminary matter, there can be no such dispute, and Kelly appears to concede that the government presented evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that the charged bribery occurred, namely that Smith, Kelly's then tour manager, tendered approximately $500 cash to an employee at a public aid office so that they would provide a fraudulent identification that Kelly and Aaliyah could use to obtain a marriage license. Kelly instead challenges that the jury's determination regarding his knowledge of an intent with regard to the bribery. The government, however, presented sufficient evidence proving Kelly's complicity in and promotion and facilitation of the bribery scheme. During trial, Kelly testified that after landing in Chicago, the Kelly security guard, Tyree Jameson, his accountant, and manager McDavid, and others gathered in a hotel suite where Aaliyah was staying to discuss Kelly's plan to marry Aaliyah. Hot damn.
Mm-hmm.
During this discussion, Smith suggested to the group, which Smith testified included Kelly. Stop. How can he say he didn't know nothing about it when he was in this meeting and he was the one that told Demetrius Smith that he needed?
He's like, I mean, the fact that he said, "Hey, we got to get to Aaliyah tonight."
I'm just saying, right? I don't think I need to say. Okay, let me continue.
Demetrius is like, okay.
Yeah. So Aaliyah was staying this two. Okay. Oh gosh. During the discussion, Smith suggested to the group, which Smith testified included Kelly, that he could obtain a fraudulent identification. While Smith, who during the testimony had made clear his close relationship with Kelly, was his strong aversion to being subpoenaed to testify, attempted to minimize Kelly's knowledge and involvement of the scheme. When asked directly if Kelly was present when Smith was suggesting to the group that you could get an ID from the welfare office if you paid some cash, Smith initially responded, "I don't remember precisely," each time but I'm pretty sure he was there. After being confronted with his grand jury testimony, Smith ultimately responded yes to the question of whether Kelly was present for the conversation about bribing the welfare employee. This testimony alone was sufficient to prove Kelly's knowledge of how Smith obtained the identification. Notwithstanding Kelly's claims to the contrary, the jury reasonably credited Smith's testimony when he stated that Kelly was present for the discussions regarding the plan to bribe the public aid employee. In addition to the content of Smith's testimony, the jury was able to view Smith's demeanor, mannerisms, and speech pattern during his testimony, information that is not readily apparent from the transcript. A rational juror viewing Smith's testimony in its entirety could reasonably believe that during the times when Smith attempted to backtrack from prior statements, he was doing so in an effort to protect Kelly, which faced him with which he faced in an open court. It is squarely within the province of the jury to assess the witness's credibility in this way and to make reasonable inferences from their evaluation of the witness during testimony. This is particularly true given that Smith consistently voiced his reluctance to testify. He said, yes, I don't want to be here, period. I was told that, hold on. Turn off. I was told that, that immunity was given to me and offered to me, but I didn't want to be here anyway. I don't feel like I did, I did on the first prosecution so, why I have to testify here. And that he viewed the defendant to be just like my brother. In addition, the jury was also aware that Smith understood that his grant of immunity did not protect him against perjury or false statements at trial. Let me square this up. It says, where there is conflicting testimony at trial, we defer to the jury's resolution of witness credibility. United States versus more case law, stating that when deciding a motion or deciding a Rule 29 motion, the court must not assess witness credibility, resolve inconsistent testimony against the verdict, or otherwise weigh the significance of the evidence. Internal citation omitted. The jury's assessment of Smith's testimony was bolstered by the circumstantial evidence at trial. As the government's proof made clear, Kelly orchestrated and participated in every aspect of the scheme from beginning to end. Kelly engaged in an inappropriate relationship and sexually abused Aaliyah since she was at least approximately 13 or 14. Kelly, after learning that Aaliyah believed that she might be pregnant, instructed Smith to arrange last-minute flight tickets to go back to Chicago. Kelly, distraught and crying, told Smith that the plan would be for Kelly to marry Aaliyah in order to avoid jail. Kelly was present for conversations in which Smith discussed bribing someone at the welfare office. Kelly, after Smith expressed his reservations about the plan, asked Smith whose side he was on. The money used to bribe the individual came from Kelly's accountant and manager, who handled Kelly's coffers. Kelly drove with Smith and Aaliyah to the welfare office and to the carrier office where Kelly's friend worked, staying behind in the car. Kelly, knowing that Aaliyah was a minor, had not previously had identification showing that she was 18, filled out the marriage application, and contained the fraudulent information. Kelly was part of a group that went to speak with Kelly's friend who put them in touch with the minister. And Kelly surreptitiously and illegally married Aaliyah in a suite in the airport hotel. The very reason Kelly needed the fraudulent identification document in the first place. The jury's finding was further supported by the overwhelming evidence adduced at trial that Kelly controlled every aspect of his affairs, and virtually no decision, no matter how minuscule, was made without Kelly's knowledge and approval. Based on the direct and circumstantial evidence presented at trial, the jury reasonably could have inferred that it was inconceivable that Kelly had participated in, facilitated, and benefited from every aspect of the scheme. But the decision to bribe the public aid office employee, such as inference, was proper, given all of the evidence presented at the court's instructions. Let me see, there's more case law. Defendant knowing and willingly participation in a conspiracy may be inferred from, for example, her presence at critical stages of the conspiracy, and could not be explained by happenstance or a lack of surprise when discussing the conspiracy with others. There's more case law. Denying Rule 29 motion and nothing that it was eminently reasonable for the jury to infer from the evidence that the result of the conduct was obvious to all those involved in the conspiracy. Deference to a jury's verdict is especially important in the conspiracy case because a conspiracy by its very nature is a secretive operation, and it is a rare case that all aspects of a conspiracy can be laid bare. It says, as court properly instructed, it is not necessary for Kelly to have been the one to physically bribe the government employee. Actual evidence, actual physical presence at the commission of a crime is not a requirement for legal responsibility. And intent to promote or facilitate the commission of the offense may be shown by evidence that the defendant shared a criminal intent of the person who directly committed the offense, or evidence that there was a common criminal design. Can you jump in it right there?
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Court with the precision of a surgeon's scalpel. Oh, I see. Denying. I think you went back up.
Say it again. Go back up.
Yeah.
We're right here. Okay. We're right here starting at denying Rule 29 and Rule 33 motions.
Sorry, I got messed up. Denying Rule 29 and Rule 33 motions, stating that the prosecution may prove its case entirely by circumstantial evidence so long as guilt is established beyond a reasonable doubt. Given all of the evidence viewed in the light most favorable to the government and deferring to the jury's assessment of witness credibility, a rational jury could and did find all the elements of Racketeering Act 1 proven. This finding should not be second guessed. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Stop it. The bribery alleged as Racketeering Act 1 satisfied the vertical and horizontal relatedness elements, notwithstanding Kelly's conclusory assertion to the contrary. In the United States v. Dayton, the Second Circuit explained, this court has further developed this requirement of relatedness, holding that predicate acts must be related to each other, horizontal relatedness, and they must be related to the enterprise, vertical relatedness, to show that the predicate acts are vertically related to the RICO enterprise. The government must establish, 1, that the defendant was enabled to commit the predicate offenses solely by virtue of his position in the enterprise, or involvement in or control over the affairs of the enterprise, or 2, that the predicate offenses are related to the activities of that enterprise. One way to show that predicate acts are horizontally related to each other is to show that each predicate act is related to the RICO enterprise. Accordingly, the requirements of horizontal relatedness can be established by linking each predicate act to the enterprise, although the same or similar proof may also establish vertical relatedness. Case law. The bribery easily satisfies the vertical and horizontal relatedness. The defendants claim that, as far as defendant knew, Smith obtained the identification from a friend who worked in the public aid office holds no weight given the evidence at trial, nor is the government required to preclude every reasonable hypothesis which is consistent with innocence. Requirements. As set forth above, Kelly was able to commit the bribery solely by virtue of his position in the enterprise. Put another way, to commit the bribery, Kelly relied upon his inner circle, i.e. members of the charged enterprise, including his tour manager and accountant. In addition, the bribery was committed for the same purpose as the other racketeering acts, namely to allow Kelly to sexually abuse women and girls and otherwise commit illegal sexual activity. Case law. Relatedness prong may be satisfied by proof that the predicate acts have the same or similar purposes, results, participants, victims, or methods of commission, or otherwise are interrelated by distinguishing characteristics and are not isolated events. Finally, Kelly's claim that Racketeering Act 1 is barred by the statute of limitations demonstrates a fundamental and continued misunderstanding of RICO. The statute of limitations for a substantive RICO offense, the offense charged in count 1, is 5 years from the date of the indictment. No person shall be prosecuted, tried, or punished for any offense not capital unless the indictment is found within 5 years next to after such offense shall have been committed. The statute of limitations is not measured, as the defendant suggests, from the date of the first racketeering act. This is so because the defendant is charged with committing a particular predicate act, but rather with committing racketeering through a pattern of racketeering acts. Under the law, in a substantive RICO charge under Section 1962C, the defendant must have committed at least one predicate act within 5 years of the date of the indictment. To establish a defendant's violation of Section 1962C, the government must, then it says, the court previously rejected a similar claim raised by the defendant in a pretrial motion to dismiss. See, blah, blah, blah. To prove that the defendant committed two or more predicate offenses, at least one of which occurred within the federal 5-year statute of limitations for non-capital offenses. Because this indictment was filed on June 20th, 2019, at least one of the predicate racketeering acts charged against the defendant in the substantive RICO count must have occurred or continued past June 20th, 2014. In this case, racketeering acts 8 through 14 all occurred after that date, and there is thus no statute of limitation issue in this case. Number 2, production of sexually explicit material. Racketeering Acts 2, 7, and 10 charge Kelly with sexual exploitation of a child in violation of case law with respect to, that's not case, but whatever, with respect to Stephanie, Geronda, and Jane, respectively. To convict the defendant of a violation of that law, government must prove 3 elements beyond a reasonable doubt. Number 1, the victim was less than 18 years old. Number 2, the defendant used, employed, persuaded, induced, enticed, coerced, or coerced the minor to take part in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing a visual depiction of that conduct. And number 3, the visual depiction was produced using materials that had been transported in interstate or foreign commerce. See case law. Kelly focuses primarily on the second element, challenging the jury's findings as to racketeering Acts 2, 7, and 10 by arguing that he did nothing to persuade, induce, entice, or coerce the victim witnesses into the sexual activity that was recorded. Notably, his argument conveniently omits any reference to the fact that the second element may be proven by showing that the defendant used or employed the minor to take part in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing a visual depiction of that conduct. As the court properly instructed the jury.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
As to the second element, the words used, employed, persuaded, induced, and enticed are words of common usage. You should interpret these words by using your common sense. The words persuade, induce, and entice are in effect synonyms to convey the idea of leading or moving another person by persuasion as to some action, state of mind, etc., or to bring about, produce, or cause. The Second Circuit has made it clear that the word used in this context encompasses a scenario where a child is photographed in order to create photography. They have case law there, holding that the statutory definition of use is met with the defendant makes a minor the subject of a visual depiction by intentionally photographing the minor engaged in sexual explicit conduct. A defendant uses a minor for purposes of if he photographs the minor engaging in sexual explicit conduct to create a visual depiction of such conduct. As a result, Kelly is simply wrong when he states, with no citation to any precedent, that the government must prove that the defendant did something more than just film the sexually explicit conduct of a minor to meet the second element. Indeed, the Second Circuit has long held there is no reason to assume that the use of a minor must occur before the filming of photographing of illicit sexual activity. No temporal limitation in implicit in any of the meanings that the word use ordinarily has, nor is one indicated in the surrounding statute or case law. Although some other actions listed, such as enticing, inducing, and persuading, will most often occur before the depicting activity, that is not so of the word use. And we find no indication in the statute that Congress meant to import a temporal limitation into the term in its context. So there's more case law. It says Kelly clearly used Stephanie, Geronda, and Jane to take part in sexual explicit conduct for the purpose of producing a visual depiction of that conduct. His arguments to the contrary should be similarly rejected. Nor was the jury erroneously instructed by the court with respect to these racketeering acts. The court correctly read each racketeering act to the jury, which language made clear, and each act charged the defendant with using the relevant victim to engage in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing one or more visual depictions of such conduct, and correctly told the jury that there's some case law which provides, well, not case law, but the page, which provides the permanent part of that. Any person who employs, uses, persuades, induces, entices, or coerces any minor to engage in any sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing any visual depiction of such conduct shall be punished. Even such person knows or has reason to know that such visual depiction will be transported in interstate or foreign commerce or mailed. If that visual depiction was produced using materials that have been mailed, shipped, or transported in interstate commerce or foreign commerce by any means, including any computer, or if the visual depiction has actually been transported in interstate or foreign commerce or mailed. With respect to Racketeering Act 2, the court then instructed the jury on the elements of this offense and various definitions of terms used within those elements, which it referred back to when instructing the jury of Racketeering Act 7 and 10. With respect to the elements, the court instructed the jury. It says here, to prove that the defendant committed this racketeering act, the government must prove that the following three elements beyond a reasonable doubt. First, that Stephanie was under the age of 18 at the time of the acts alleged in the indictment. Second, that the defendant used, employed, persuaded, induced, or enticed Stephanie to take any part in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing or transmitting a visual depiction of that conduct. And third, that the visual depiction was produced using materials that had been mailed, shipped, or transported in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce. While the court included language here regarding transmitting a visual depiction of that conduct, which relates to a portion of 2251 that is not charged in these racketeering acts, it did not do so to the exclusion of correctly instructing the jury as to the production purpose of this charged conduct, as apparently suggested by the defendant. Given that, as Kelly himself concedes, the government presented no evidence regarding the transmission of live visual depictions at trial. The court's conclusion of the surplus or transmitting language did not mislead the jury or affect its verdict, particularly whereas here both the language of the racketeering acts themselves and the relevant portion of the statute read by the court to the jury made clear that the indictment only charged the production purpose of the visual depictions and not any purpose to transmit such visual depictions. Put another way, number one, the court's jury instructions, though they contained irrelevant additional language, were legally correct. And two, The evidence at trial clearly established that Kelly used Stephanie, Geronda, and Jane respectfully to engage in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing a visual depiction of such conduct. Viewed as a whole, the court's instructions thus included all the essential elements of the offense and adequately informed the jury of the law. Case law. Viewed as a whole, the jury instruction adequately instructed the jury as to all factual findings required to support conviction. Therefore, the instruction did not mislead the jury and was not erroneous, let alone plainly so. Internal quotation marks and citations omitted. More case law. Jury instructions not erroneous if taken as a whole and viewed in light of evidence. No tendency to confuse or mislead the jury as to principles of law which are applicable. Finally, Kelly's argument that the government failed to prove the interstate commerce element of the offense, namely that the visual depictions that at issue were produced using materials that had been mailed, shipped, or transported in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce, lacks merit. With respect to Stephanie, the government proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Kelly produced the visual depiction in Illinois by using a video camera to record the visual depiction on a VHS tape. Now, the government further proved by stipulation that number one, a competent part of all VHS tapes is polyester film. And two, in and before 1999, all of the entities that manufactured the polyester film used in all VHS tapes were located outside the state of Illinois and manufactured polyester film outside the state of Illinois. With respect to Geronda, the government proved that Kelly produced the visual depictions of Geronda in Illinois using an Apple iPod and a Canon camera, both of which were manufactured outside the state of Illinois. With respect to Jane, the government proved that Kelly produced visual depictions of Jane throughout the United States, including Chicago, Atlanta, and California, using an iPad, which was manufactured, that's right, outside of the United States. Based on this evidence, a reasonable juror could find beyond a reasonable doubt that the sexually explicit visual depictions of Stephanie, Geronda, Jane, and all were produced using materials that had been transported in interstate commerce. VHS tape made outside the state, made out of state, sufficient to satisfy interstate commerce element in possession of child pornography case. There's more case law. Use of a camera and film that had traveled in interstate commerce satisfies interstate commerce element for production of child pornography. More case law. Polaroid film produced in either Massachusetts or the Netherlands.
Woohoo, Massachusetts.
Yeah, there you go. Or Netherlands provided sufficient interstate foreign commerce nexus in child pornography possession case. They had this case so ripped.
Like they went everywhere. I don't even remember them talking about where the stuff was produced. Do you?
I didn't know. No, this their first time really breaking. So I'm gonna tell you what Bonjean did. Bonjean pissed him off.
They're like, you really want to know it all? We're gonna give it to you.
So what they were trying to do was they were trying to politely just present the evidence. They weren't trying to, they weren't trying to show off, right?
Right.
It's like, this is what we have.
Right. Exactly.
Let's go ahead and let's do this. And, just go away quietly. Let him serve his time for what he did. You want to see video? Here's video. You want to see testament? Here's testament. But then Bonjean said, oh, I'm going to break nice nasty. So then the government said, you know what? Fine. This what we got, damn it. Now this thing was made this way. Oh, they going in. They are going
they got
in.
every single side covered. This is why we get 99% freaking convictions.
99%. That's why they on fire,
You
right?
want us to show you why? Like, this is why.
There you go. So here we go. Okay, commerce, nexus. Okay. The use of an iPhone manufactured outside Utah to produce child pornography satisfies interstate element. Let me see. Possession of photographs of child pornography taken using a film manufactured in another state alone provides sufficient nexus to interstate commerce. Number 3. I went too far. Hold on. Okay. Number 3. Man Act violations, exposure to a sexually transmitted disease.
Here we go.
You can go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Kelly challenges the sufficiency of the evidence proving that violations of the Mann Act based on exposure to a sexually transmitted disease. Specifically, Kelly first argues that the government failed to prove racketeering Acts 8A and 12A because with respect to Jane and Faith, respectively, there was insufficient evidence to prove that Kelly transported either of them with the intent of exposing them to herpes. He also similarly argues that there was insufficient proof in racketeering Acts 8B and 12B that Kelly persuaded, induced, enticed, or coerced Faith to travel to New York with the intent of exposing her to herpes, and that he did not persuade, induce, entice, or coerce Jane to travel to California in April and May of 2015 at all. Finally, Kelly argues that the evidence was insufficient to prove that he committed violations of California Health and Safety Code and New York penal law, and all those laws.
Mm-hmm.
A, racketeering Acts 8A and 12A, intent. As the court correctly instructed the jury in order to establish the necessary intent for a violation of that law, it is not necessary for the government to prove that engaging in illegal sexual activity was the only purpose for crossing the state line. A person may have several different purposes or motives for such travel, and each may prompt in varying degrees of the act of making the journey. The government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt, however, that a significant or motivating purpose of the travel across a state line was that the defendant would engage in illegal sexual activity with the victim. In other words, that illegal activity must not have been merely incidental to the trip. Approving virtually identical language in jury charge for violation of that law, which criminalizes transportation of a minor with intent to engage in illegal sexual activity and includes identical intent language. More case law using virtually identical language in jury charge for violation of Kelly argues that the illegal sexual activity alleged in these racketeering. And then it says, notably, the defendant asserts wrongly that the 9th and 10th circuits have held that the government must prove that the illegal sexual activity is the dominant, significant, or motivating purpose behind the transportation, and misleadingly suggests that there is a circuit split regarding that issue. In fact, the cases cited by the defendant for this proposition do not so hold. In case law, the 9th Circuit explicitly recognized that a defendant may have more than one purpose for transporting an individual, and only one of the dominant purposes need be for illegal sexual activity. More case law holding that defendant stated purpose in traveling to New York and back to Oregon to pick up and deliver goods in his capacity as long-haul truck driver did not mean the requisite intent was not established at trial because it ignores the human ability and propensity to act in light of multiple motives and purposes, only one of which need be a dominant, significant, or motivating purpose to engage in illegal sexual activity. That the defendant also had a commercial purpose for crossing state lines does not negate the inference that he had a significant or motivating purpose to continue engaging in illegal sexual activity with the victim. Similarly, in United States versus Cryer, the 10th Circuit made clear that transportation for the purpose of illegal sexual activity need not be the sole reason for transportation, not need it be the most important of the defendant's reasons when multiple purposes are present. It only be a motivating or dominant purpose. Thus, it is clear that the 9th and 10th Circuit's decisions are in line with the court's instructions here that the illegal sexual activity need only be a motivating or significant purpose of the travel. Nor is the defendant correct that the Second Circuit does not seem to have answered the intent question. In United States versus Vargas Cordon, while discussing identical intent language in 18, I think it goes back down to the bottom again. I don't know. Let me just start with acts.
Yeah.
Acts was incidental to the trips. While Kelly was certainly free to make such an argument to the jury, and in fact did so, based on the evidence presented at trial, the jury was entitled to find otherwise. In this regard, the relevant question is not, as suggested by Kelly, whether he traveled to California in the spring of 2015 to perform at shows or that he had the intent to infect Jane with herpes. Rather, the relevant question is whether one of Kelly's motivating purposes in transporting Jane to California was to engage in unprotected sex with Jane without first informing her that he had contracted herpes and obtaining her to consent to sexual intercourse in those circumstances. As to that question, the government presented sufficient evidence for a reasonable juror to reach that conclusion. Kelly's medical records and testimony from his personal doctor, Chris McGrath, among other things, established that the defendant had contracted genital herpes at some point after June 2000 and before March 19, 2007, and that Dr. McGrath had informed the defendant of this diagnosis and unequivocally told the defendant to inform his sexual partners. USC 2423A, the Second Circuit made clear that the contemplated unlawful sexual activity need not be the defendant's sole purpose for transporting a minor in interstate or foreign commerce. Rather, it must only be a dominant purpose for the transportation. This can include being one of multiple dominant purposes. A jury need only find that illegal sexual activity was one of the dominant motives for the interstate transportation, and not merely an incident of the transportation. The portion of the trial transcript cited by the defendant to assert that the purpose of the defendant's travel to California had nothing to do with Jane, but rather was because the defendant had shows there, refers to a California trip that took place after the conduct charged in Racketeering Act 8A, which charges conduct in or about... What happened? Are you still there?
I'm here, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it went back to my home screen. Very weird.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay. Good.
In or about... Let's see.
In or about in between the end of April and May
2015, during the quoted portion of her testimony, Jane was testifying about trips to California that occurred after her initial trip there in the spring of 2015. That he had herpes and to use a condom during intercourse. That's from the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
There was also overwhelming evidence showing that notwithstanding what Kelly told Jane, Kelly's motivating purpose in spending time with Jane was to engage in sexual activity with her. Jane testified that the very first time she met Kelly in Florida at the Dolphin Hotel, he told her that before she could audition for him, he needed to come or ejaculate, and continuously tried to peer pressure her to have sex with him. Ultimately, after Jane continued to decline, Kelly asked Jane to at least just let him lick her butt. And in return, he promised to allow Jane to audition and to take care of her for life. Thereafter, Kelly licked Jane's butt before being interrupted by a knock on the door of his hotel room by officers. After the officers left Kelly, made Jane get back on top of him backwards, and then he ejaculated. After he ejaculated, Kelly allowed Jane to sing for him. Therefore, Kelly told Jane that he wanted her to travel to see him and that he would teach her a few techniques. The two then continued to communicate by phone. A few days after their meeting at the Dolphin Hotel, Kelly asked Jane to send him a video of her singing in her underwear and bra, which she did. And he also gave Jane the phone number for his assistant, Cheryl Mack, and told Jane to text Mack so that Mack could make travel arrangements for Jane to come see Kelly while he was on tour in California. On April 28, 2015, Jane sent a text message to Mack stating, "Mr. Kelly said to get me to LA on an early flight. My name is Jane. I'm in Orlando, Florida currently," and provided Mack with her true date of birth, December 30th, 1997. Mack then arranged for Jane to travel to Los Angeles the following day, and Jane flew from Orlando, Florida to Los Angeles, which travel was paid for by Kelly.
Hold on, stop right there.
Yeah.
So that right there, as soon
Mm-hmm.
as Azriel introduced herself. Right here, it says on April 28, 2015, Jane sent a text message to Mac stating, Mr. Kelly said to get me to LA, an early flight. My name is Jane. Obviously, she said Azriel then or whatever she said. I'm in Orlando, Florida currently, and provided Mac with her true date of birth.
Boom.
At that point, she knew that she was underage and should have told him, yo,
immediately.
You know this girl's 17, right? Mac then arranged for Jane to travel to Los Angeles the following day. That
She should have been like, I need to talk to your parents.
Yeah, let me talk to your mama. Do your mama know, girl, how you only 17? Do your mama know that you going to go see a grown 40, 30, 40 some year old man? Do your mama know that?
Exactly.
That is what a normal adult or someone who is responsible would do.
Just that one sentence right there, I feel like debunks so many things in
Bonjean. Like right there. That's right there.
Yeah. In black and white text message, right? That was all text message.
Okay.
That wasn't this is what I think I said.
Right. You can go ahead and finish that up.
Okay. After her arrival in Los Angeles, Jane saw Kelly in his hotel room. Kelly told Jane that he wanted to teach Jane a few musical techniques. However, he needed to ejaculate again before doing anything. He has a problem.
He's a freaking sick ejaculating jackrabbit demon sex.
Especially at that age, like he's late 40s by now.
Yeah, what the hell? Can you I'm gonna take the thing that tripped me out the most was when Faith who said that he started jacking off at hyper speed.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What is
so creepy?
He's a freaking a evil entity into his body and just okay, go ahead.
All right. Let's see. And thereafter, he needed to ejaculate again before doing anything, and thereafter gave Jane oral sex. After Los Angeles, Cheryl Mack arranged for Jane to travel to Stockton, California on May 1st, 2015. After attending Kelly's concert in Stockton that evening, Jane saw Kelly at a hotel room in Stockton where she had sexual intercourse, vaginal penetration with him. Kelly did not use a condom and did not say anything to Jane about his having an STD. Thereafter, in summer of 2015, Jane traveled and spent time with Kelly in Chicago and Atlanta, and the two had sex almost every day. While the two engaged in sexual contact, Kelly would basically control exactly every single time they were intimate, meaning that he would say everything specifically and Jane would have to follow exactly what he said. Kelly never told Jane that he had previously been diagnosed with herpes, and he never used a condom during sex. From this evidence, the jury could reasonably conclude that one of Kelly's motivating reasons for arranging for Jane to travel to see him in California in April and May 2015 was so that he could have sexual intercourse with Jane and do so in the manner he always did with Jane and his other sexual partners who testified at trial, namely without a condom and without first informing her that he had contracted herpes.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
The same is true for Faith. Faith testified that after meeting Kelly at a concert in San Antonio in March of 2017, she began communicating with him regularly, and he arranged for her to travel to see him on various occasions between May 2017 and February 2008. At no point during the time period from March 2017, though, through the last time Faith traveled to see the defendant in February 2018, did the defendant tell Faith that he had herpes. Hold on, y'all. Okay, you back?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening today.
That's okay. That he had herpes. There we go. At no point during his sexual interactions with Faith did he wear a condom, including during sexual intercourse. In May of 2017, after attending Kelly's concert the night before, In Long Island, Kelly showed up at Faith's hotel room at 6:00 a.m. and almost immediately stripped down from his waist down and told Faith to take her clothes off, asking her to come rub on Daddy, referring explicitly to his penis. When Faith began massaging his shoulders, Kelly moved her hand onto his penis and told her to rub there. Faith told Kelly she was not ready for sex, and Kelly responded that he was at his best when he was wanted. Thereafter, Kelly instructed Faith to get on the bed on her fours, on her back, get in the bed on her back on all fours and started rubbing on her, and then stuck his fingers inside her vagina in a manner in which Faith felt like she was being examined by an OBGYN. Kelly then began to give Faith oral sex from behind, and after a brief pause, Faith told Faith to flip over, which she did, and he continued to give her oral sex. Thereafter, Kelly started to get ready to penetrate Faith, and she asked him, "Are you going to use a condom?" To which Kelly replied, "We don't need a condom." Kelly then penetrated Faith's vagina with his penis and directed Faith on what to say and how to moan while recording the encounter on. So this nigga purposely was giving out her piece to these damn girls.
It's like he doesn't even need. It's almost like he just needs them to be there just so he can do his whole.
He just needs them there for the feeling of his dick getting wet and him being able to come.
Like
they don't care who's there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the face or anything. The brain. It just matters that there's a body there.
What a sick ass individual.
That's bad.
Wow. Y'all excuse my language. I'm sorry. Oh,
not at all. I mean, it's called for because like this is just so narcissistic. It's not even funny.
There were times where Kelly paused because Faith wasn't getting aroused, and it was kind of like difficulties with him getting inside of Faith. After Kelly finished, he let out a sigh of disappointment and told Faith there was a lot she had to learn when it came to sex. After a brief conversation concerning Faith's age, Kelly put on his clothes, got his backpack, and he left.
I love got his backpack.
Yeah, he used him like a piece of freaking meat.
He really did. He really, really did. Didn't ever have compliments for them, like at least like, "Oh, that was nice, baby," or something.
Damn,
like,
man,
you got a lot to learn.
Freaking savage. Like,
I can't.
Other than stay in her hotel room at the defendant's direction, Faith did nothing else for the remainder of the trip and did not see the defendant again during the trip. In the months that followed, Kelly arranged for Faith to travel to see him in Chicago, June of 2017, May, December 17th, Los Angeles in January 2018, and then finally in New York City, February 2018. On each of those occasions, the defendant intended to engage in sexual intercourse with Faith. Indeed, in Chicago, with less than 5 minutes of the first meeting her, Kelly told Faith to take off her clothes and pulled out his penis. After Faith told Kelly she was on her period, he told Faith to suck on Daddy and pulled her neck down and started giving him oral sex, which she did for approximately 30 minutes. This encounter began at about 10 minutes after Faith had arrived in Kelly's studio from the airport, and as discussed above, less than 5 minutes after the defendant first saw her in Chicago. Kelly then sent Faith to buy lingerie at a local mall and did not see her again during his trip to Chicago, for which the jury could certainly infer that Kelly no longer had an interest in seeing again during this trip because he had told him that she had her period and given that would not engage in sexual intercourse with her.
It's almost like she had to fill out a questionnaire before she should get there for him to be happy.
In Dallas, Kelly engaged in sexual intercourse with Faith at the concert venue before his show. without a condom and without first informing her he had AIDS. AIDS. He had herpes. After the concert and a period of time when Faith was backstage with Diana Copeland, Faith returned to her hotel and went to sleep. Approximately 2 hours later, Faith was awoken by knocking on the door. Kelly came inside and engaged in sexual intercourse with Faith again without a condom and without his informing her that he had herpes. At the end of the trip, Kelly informed Faith, inter alia, that he was dismayed that when he had sex with her, he had difficulty getting his penis fully inside her, and told Faith she needed to get a dildo that was the size of his penis, and she needed to start using it so that he doesn't have any problems when they're having sex. In Los Angeles, Faith saw Kelly at the recording studio after being told by Diana Copeland to wait in a Sprinter van outside for hours, and then in a room within the studio. After about 15 minutes, Kelly jogged into the room, got something, said, "Hey," and left the room. What the Listen. Why does it seem every time we read this kind of stuff, it's like you get right back to the raw emotion that you feel like this dude was just a simple piece of shit.
Yeah, in all aspects. Seriously.
Like he was just a straight dog walking the hell out of these women, like just treating them like straight hoes. Like, what's up? Yeah, I'm out. Damn, nigga, she came in
hours, sitting there for hours. Hey,
got his bag and then left. Hey. Anyway, here we go. Faith then waited several hours in the room before Kelly returned again. Shortly after his return, Kelly told Faith to take off her clothes and walk back and forth. Faith again told Kelly she was on her period, though this time she did not actually have her period. Faith lied to Kelly about having her period because she did not want to have sex. Upon learning that Faith had her period, Kelly sighed and said, "Well, why did you come?" Wow. And somebody want to question that he brought her there to have sex with her? Like, what other freaking reason did he? What was her other purpose in being there other than just to be a hole for him to stick his dick in?
Exactly. There's no other purpose for her, obviously.
Damn, man. Sometimes reading this stuff makes me feel like a piece of shit.
It's just, it's just like, wow.
All right.
I just feel so much for those girls.
Yeah, man. Gosh. All right. He said, "Well, why did you come?" Faith responded, "You wouldn't want me to come just because I was on my period." And Kelly nodded his head. He then told Faith to take off her pants and had her walk back and forth in the bodysuit she was wearing. Later, and described he forced Faith to give him oral sex. Finally, when Faith traveled to New York City in February 2018, she arrived at the Mondarian Hotel about 1 a.m. and stayed in Kelly's hotel suite. The suite was empty when she arrived, and Kelly knocked on the door at about 8 a.m. while Faith was sleeping. Immediately after she opened the door to the suite, Kelly told Faith that she was going to have to get used to his schedule and told her to take her clothes off, which she did. Kelly then asked Faith to hug and kiss him, and thereafter retrieved his iPad and told Faith to pose. After which she complained that she wasn't. After which he complained she wasn't being sexy. He then told Faith to play with herself, and when she did not do so, he sighed with dissatisfaction. Kelly then asked Faith to lie down on the bed with her head back. And after the defendant masturbated briefly, he began to penetrate Faith, putting his penis into her vagina. Faith clenched her body on purpose, and Kelly became frustrated, started grunting, and told Faith to relax, and got upset when she did not do so. Finally, Frustrated and upset, Kelly got up, retrieved his iPad to watch sexual content on it, and began masturbating in a high-speed manner.
There you go.
There we go. Fucking jackrabbit jack off. When he finished, Kelly told Faith she needed to be like the two women in the sex video he just watched on his iPad. Kelly then ordered room service, asked Faith to rub his back, and subsequently fell asleep. A few minutes later, thereafter, Diana Copeland entered the suite and informed the defendant that he had a meeting he was late for. And the defendant quickly got dressed. Before leaving, however, Kelly gave Faith constructive criticism about her sexual positions. The defendant did not use a condom or inform Faith that he had herpes prior to having sexual intercourse with her in New York City. Given this course of events over 5 trips, including Kelly's reaction to learning that Faith purportedly had her period in Los Angeles, a reasonable juror could certainly conclude that a motivating purpose of Faith's travel to see him in Los Angeles and elsewhere, including her 2 trips in New York, was to have sexual intercourse with her in a manner he always did without a condom and without first informing her that he had herpes. We're going to stop right there.
Okay.
So this is page 75, and we're going to start at B. Does somebody please type in the chat 75 and B, please? Page 75, letter B. So let's talk for a few.
This is it just brings it all back over and over.
Golly, man. Damn. Like, as a man myself, like, even when I was, younger and dumber and, out here, what us young guys do. We out here, we play the field and we try to, see what we can get and all this kind of stuff. I was never that freaking messed up. Like, I was never that cruel. I was never that heartless. Like, he just seems like a very like everything they say about, oh, he got such a sweetheart. Oh my God, he did this and he fed this and he got all the kids McDonald's Happy Meals and all this kind of shit. Like,
fake.
I'm sure he did that, but sometimes people will do stuff to cover up all their evil deeds.
Right. It's all part of his narcissism. Like, he has no empathy and no care in the world for anyone but R. Kelly. And R. Kelly needs to still, at the same time, show the world that he is the person who he wants them to think he is. So he's got to do those little things like give out McDonald's to kids so that people will love him. But at the same time, in the background, wow, he's treating people like garbage. His employees, his girlfriends. Those are not that. Like, Faith is not even a girlfriend. Come on,
right?
Let's be real. She was just a hole, like you said, like a hole every now.
Just
every
a wet hole. Like I think he would. If he did have sex with that girl, what's her name, Jasmine? Like,
you probably wouldn't even know.
What the hell? Like, he'll have sex with anything. Like, I don't know that lady, so I'm just talking in general.
Right.
Let's go ahead and read some comments. But
yeah.
All right, here we go. So Take said, she just said Billie Jean doesn't know what the RICO.
They did say that she did, not without an understanding of RICO or another misunderstanding of RICO. That's true.
Unbelievable.
I read that.
Cotton Candy said, I honestly didn't believe that he was there physically. They had people believing it was some promotion of an album. Also, them dressing in that green sweatsuit together. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. If the government didn't cover and break down everything in detail, that was charged, right? Love is fair, so he in the bushes. Tate said, Cotton Candy, I'm old enough to have remembered when their marriage license was leaked, and the creepy way he was looking at her on the album cover in interviews. I saw the tape of him and RL, and there has been no doubt in my mind for decades about who and what RSK is. People defending him at this point with all the evidence released in EDNY are just suspect as F. I agree with you. RSK with that traveling backpacks, interstate commerce. Hello. Marcus Foreman, what's up, brother? How you doing? So he guilty as hell and he not getting out. No, he not. I guess the P-Hive just stopped talking about the marriage. They really can't say it's a lie anymore. No, listen, Julie, ever since Greenberg came out and said, yes, he married Aaliyah. Yes, he married Aaliyah. That should have been the end of it right there. Like, that's your damn lawyer.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. Tate said, Julie, some of them buzzards, some of them buzzards still say it was all Demetrius and he didn't know that she was 15. Others still ride the publicity stunt defense. Well, you know what kills this? He didn't know she was 15 is when he had the video where he first introduced her in the thing where he said, yeah, and I got this new star and she this, she that, 14-year-old Aaliyah.
Yep. That's that. And why would Demetrius do any of this bullshit? Sorry.
He's an idiot. No.
Why would he do that if R. Kelly didn't want to? Hello?
Right. Exactly. Let me see. Cotton Candy said, I never seen any of that. Nor have I watched the document series still to this day. I wanted to wait and hear the trial and transcripts first. Okay. Just B said, shout out to Apple. There's the Apple. All right. Tate said, Cotton Candy, I never see any of the documentaries, but I followed the first trial. Candy said, Apple and Alexa will trap you off. For real. Hey, Rosalind Baxter, how are you? Julie said, well, Lady D told me I had no proof of a marriage license and I needed to watch what I say the other day. Ooh. Is that, you mean Lady D or Lady G? Is that her name, Lady G? Because I know we got a Lady D over here. Lady D is a sweetheart, though. I don't think it's that Lady D. Let me see. Tate said, visual depictions means videos for some of the slow people, and those videos were entered into evidence, even if you want to pretend they didn't. Absolutely. Julie, I had one of them tell me he didn't have herpes because there was a negative test and the Valtrex was for chicken.
Are you serious?
Wow.
You know, chickenpox only shows up on your genitals in your mouth. Did you know that?
Wow.
That's chickenpox. You must have the second part of chickenpox instead of the regular chickenpox.
Wow. Some of these folks.
The herpes kind of chickenpox.
I guess so. Wow. Okay. Julie said they ready to be done with his ass. They may have done the old mic drop.
I was going to say that too.
Cotton Kelly said, wait, the Netherlands. So they use a company to extract the data from these devices. They had to. Just V Apple. Yeah. Take R. Kelly. I can't help feel bad for their. I can't help but feel bad for their dumbasses. Man.
I don't feel bad for any of them.
Hell no. Take say it again for the people in the bushes. Julie said, I can't figure out why none of these people can get along. They are always fighting and exchanging followers. We have all been there here the whole time with Atmos, and I appreciate y'all for that. Thank you.
Atmos is fair. He's fair as fair.
I try to be. Miss Lynn, hey, Miss Lynn, how you doing? Let me see. Doris McGill said, hey, okay. Just V said when he went to California for his show, but he transported ass for sex and other weird shit. Pretty much. Tate said, Julie, because R. Kelly is shady trash and attracts defenders of the same character. Absolutely. Now, here's my question. Now, this is all alleged. But I wonder how many, because a lot of the people that were around him were in his age group, older men, creepy ass men who knew he hung around kids, right? If you're going to tell me that none of those men observed what was going on around them, and some of them probably participated in some of the stuff with them kids too.
Oh, heck yeah, they did. Anytime that R. Kelly was like, yo, dude, you want to come in? Or like, here, go take that one. You did
What's
something good for me.
what's that one saying that what's DJ, what's his name? DJ Tyson. Yeah, what his name?
That bug?
Yeah, dude over there. He always say what do you always say? Something about
can't
birds
watch
of a feather flock together.
Yeah. Mind the company you keep. That's why I tell my
I'm,
son, make
I'm
sure you
just
mind the
saying.
company you keep.
I'm just saying, don't nobody be around a person that's much and
Mm-mm.
not know what the hell they doing.
Seriously.
Right? Don't
And that's
know
what makes
nothing
me so
about them.
mad about those women.
Mm.
You know, I don't know those women and what they've been through, but like
Yeah.
Cheryl Mack and Diana
Yeah.
Copeland, come
Yeah.
on. Those are little
Yeah.
girls. You're grown
Yeah.
women. You should be
Yeah.
protecting them.
Right. Let me see here. Let's say I agree, Atmos. You are correct. Let me see. Tate said, I've been trying to tell them that as his testimony was backed up by text, emails, and flight records. Absolutely.
They're not going to put anything on there that they don't have.
They can't, but they can't do that.
What is that? I heard somebody say that you never ask a lawyer should never ask a question they don't have the answer to.
Mm.
And the prosecution sure don't. They have an answer for everything that she threw out at them.
Mm. You're right. All right, let me see. He needs to get that thing cut off. It's poison. Right. Let me see here. Try to make Azriel out to be crazy and stupid, but you can't change text and videos on record. Just we said not sure, but this is federal, so it don't matter. Julie said it wouldn't matter if the victim was 30 years old. He a nasty grown ass human. Yeah. You have to be 4 years older than the guy. She was too young for him. When he was old enough to be. I think it's 5 years. It's 5 years, Aisha. I think it's 5 years. You got to be within 5 years. So
yeah, that's what I heard too. 5 years.
5 years. But she close enough.
It was like 30.
Right. Intentionally spreading STD. Yeah, pretty much. He just nasty. Let me see here. He ain't even cuddle with her. Yeah, damn, you only cuddle her.
Not even. That's what I mean.
Give her a hug. Nothing. Just crazy.
Let's do that. All right, say ya.
He watched videos from his backpack to get aroused with some of the girls. Too sickening. Tate said cotton candy, or does it matter the age where he had sex? It matters at the federal age of 17, and he crossed state lines with her. Period. 30 minutes, child. Jazzy Cuteness says, I could not deal with the nastiness of the sex if I was them. The whole thing is just sickening. Yes, it is.
But they're all hoping to be that one.
It's crazy. Yeah, trying to be that one.
But when you're 20, 30 years younger than the man that's been doing this for so long, like he's in a different total mindset than they are.
Absolutely.
But he's not. He's stringing them along for sure.
Absolutely. Well, because you got to understand, he simply manipulated the hell out of them, because you got to think about it. Okay, let's just look at this for how it is. Here's the facts. Most of these girls, 17, 16, 14, 15, young ass girls, even the 17-year-olds 5 years ago, before then, was 12 years old.
Right.
So look at the mentality and how they don't know themselves yet. They don't know what they're going to be. They don't have any goals yet. They're just young girls who see a grown-ass man who's a superstar, who got money, who's on TV, and they just did whatever he told. What did he tell Azriel? If you just let me lick your butt, I will take care of you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and what girl isn't kind of like looking for that?
Listen,
he
wouldn't have pulled that on no grown-ass woman.
No, God, no.
I'm just saying.
He would never been able to.
So you have to. He had to use,
their brains. Teenage brain is just a.
They don't think. I got teenagers. I know. Shit,
me too.
They just look in space sometimes. You know what the hell wrong with you?
Yep.
Right. Julie said, "How can people read this shit and say he did nothing wrong? What idiot would think this is okay?" Julie, you'd be surprised. I done had some of the bloggers on the other side who I've wanted to have conversations with to just kind of see, why they portray the information they do to their people, and they tell me, "Oh, Atmos, them transcripts bullshit. I don't read that shit. It's all that."
But hello, that's court of law. You don't get much realer than that.
I don't get it. Cotton Candy said, take. I'm in my head just thinking. I'm kind of mad though, because after 1 year, close to 2 listening and watching, I'm just not getting why women didn't do anything. Yeah, them women were crazy.
Can I make a little comment?
Go ahead.
So with Faith, like we just read about Faith and how they broke it down kind of puts it in simpler terms, for me, than reading her whole transcript, And so they broke down the dates and what happened each time. And to me, like, she wasn't following his direction. She wasn't going along with his plan. She wasn't ready for him at all hours of the day. So she was not the one to keep around. Whereas probably, we don't know, but probably, can I just lick your butt? Okay. Can you just come here, find out when you're going to come here and see me now? Okay. You're going to, okay. So you're one that's going to follow my rules. You're going to learn how I want you to do things. You don't got a big, strong head on your shoulder trying to be like, oh, I'm a woman. You can't tell me what to do.
Now, here's the thing too. Let's jump another direction. You got to understand that Faith was raised by some very solid, honorable parents.
Yes, her dad is a pastor.
He's a pastor. Miss Rogers is a great woman of God, great woman, just honorary people, right? I don't know the Clarys to know what they instilled inside of Azriel. I know Azriel's smart.
Very smart.
I know that she does speak her mind.
But she was young.
But she was
younger than Faith.
Exactly. Faith was 19 when he met her. But here's the thing. So him telling Faith that stuff, I
don't think Faith has an aspiring...
She wasn't trying to be no singer.
Right.
She really was trying to be with him. Like, really was like, you know what? Okay, let's, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like he just treated her like shit.
Right. Whereas really wanted a career, and he had that like extra weight to pull with that subject.
Right. Yeah, like Lady D said, he preyed on their dreams.
Yes. Facts.
Straight up. All right, so let's move on. Let's see. Julie said they were brainwashed. Yeah, they were. And now it makes me really start to think when Tim was saying they had that Stockholm syndrome, they started to fall in love with their abuser. And I watched this one show on TV. It's called Heist. It's like when they rob a bank. It's on Netflix. It's a good series. Y'all should watch it.
I heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I want to check it out.
It's very good. So these guys go in, they rob the bank, they hold all these hostages, right? And some of the hostages started to fall in love with the people holding the gun to their head and holding them hostage. They started to really catch feelings for it. And that's Stockholm. You start to actually catch feelings for the person who is taking you and violating you and mistreating you. Like, these girls actually did suffer with Stockholm syndrome.
Sure.
Real talk.
He's the man that has been taking care of them for this past amount of time.
I'm just saying.
And he's the one that's going to hurt them if they don't follow his rules.
Exactly. He's going to inflict the pain inside of them. Cotton Candy said, Jazzy Cuteness, I dislike them effing women rather than the handlers. Whatever they call themselves, right? Let me see here. So we stopped at 75B. Wow, none of them grown ass women deserve a pass. They horrible. Take said, Cotton Candy. Well, most of them were kids without fully developed brains. And a superstar would be my guess. One out of everyone on both trials, only 3 were even 18. Wow.
And they say it takes like till 25 for your brain to fully develop.
Exactly. All right, here we go. Let's see. Jazzy Cute said, oh no, if they don't know he did that shit and turned the cheek, yeah, F them. I don't blame you. T-Bound said, number 1, total pervert, predator devil. Let me see, because they are it bags. Like his supporters who probably weren't protected as kids and are looking out for themselves. Yep. He is a pervert. That's what Granny said. Yes, it's like feeding a lion. Just throw a girl in there. Yes. Yep. There you go, Julie. That's what they did. They just threw the girls in. Tate said, no, I'm speaking of the handlers. The ones they mentioned in the indictment, the grown adults who worked for him.
Right.
Right.
Like Farrell and Diana.
Now I will say this because you say
And the
grown
twins.
adults. That just triggered something in me. Now, Levi. Everybody know I like Levi. Levi, cool dude, right? But I hate when he uses that bullshit when he says R. Kelly dealt with teenage adults. What the hell is a damn teenage adult?
Oh, come on, Levi.
It don't make freaking sense. And that's his, and I hate when he do that, but I know that's his way of kind of staying away from the 17 and 16-year-old thing. So every time someone says, hey, how do you feel about R. Kelly messing with minors? He said, well, I don't approve of him messing with teenage adults, which are 18 and 19 years old. Like, come on, dude, get straight to the, tell it. Bro,
that's how Levi talks around everything.
He talk around everything. I mean, and listen, I love the guy to death, man. Shout out to freaking Levi. Shout out to Levi. But that irritates the hell out of me when he say that. All right, let me see. Shaw Baby said that's why he only messed with teenagers because a grown woman will not tolerate that. Exactly.
I'm talking about Shaw Baby.
Huh?
That's right, Shaw Baby.
That's right, Shaw Baby. That's right. Take said Cotton Candy. I figured that after I wrote it. That's why I deleted it. Okay. Hold on. He done messed with them poor girls up for life. Yeah, he did. But why did he marry her? It has to be something far more than just they wanted to put out that he probably thought
he wanted to protect. He thought that if he married Aaliyah, that she would not be able to testify
against him
if she was pregnant. And he got charges filed against him for statutory.
Have y'all watched his friends speak? We did watch that, Julie. Yeah. I did a whole video on it. I did a whole video on it with a review. So it was eye-opening. His friends are delusional as hell. Delusional as hell, just like these supporters. They are. Julie said the old woman, she repeats everything Sylvia says. Oh my gosh. Cotton Candy, she was supposed to be pregnant, and they tell him marrying her to save his ass. He had been, yep. Let's see, Doris McGill said, chicken box. I am done. Let me go back to the bush. Who got more tissue? Doris, you silly. I remember when I didn't like Atmos because he was friends with Dana and low-key defended RSK. Oh gosh, did I low-key defend him? Maybe I did back then. I don't. You know what, y'all? Back when I first came on here, I don't even remember. I asked Dana. I said, Dana, can you pull up a video of me ever saying anything about R. Kelly innocent or anything like that? He can't find it because it's not out there, right? So that's what it is. But yes, you know what? I opened up my eyes and I saw the light. I saw the light. Rocket said, hey, Atmos in chat. I have to catch the replay since I was downstairs releasing with Lady K. That's awesome. That's awesome. If y'all haven't got her album yet, y'all. Oh, by the way, her album will be released. The full album will be released on April 28th. So I will keep y'all updated. But if y'all go to her website, Lady Crystal, LADI Crystal KRYSTA, y'all can go in there now and actually buy some of her music. She just released some of her music on there, so you can go buy something like $1.99 or $5.99 for a CD. So y'all get it. Shouty, what up, Shouty? How you doing? Jeff, that's because the parents are complicit and the ones defending the predator are dick riders. That is right, exactly. Yeah, I see. We saw it. We had a troll in here. It's okay. Y'all got rid of them. Good. Julie said exactly. And Shirley said I agree. Atmos Tate said Canick was absent the day they caught. They taught that in school. Indeed. Damien, what's up? What's up, Damien? How you doing? Yeah, Damien 8778. How you doing? Thanks. Welcome to the channel. Please like and subscribe, please. Cotton Candy said Atmos, his brain on the outside of his body. He not included as a human. Oh my gosh. Shirley said 5 years. Marcus said his nasty has been doing it for years. Yeah, you have. T-Bam. That's actually the only thing that that truly is believable. Indigo said the girls were there for his pleasure. The girls didn't realize that's not love. Definitely not a healthy way to be treated. I wonder, y'all. Listen, I really wonder, does he feel any remorse? Any remorse for how he has destroyed these women's lives? Any remorse? If you think he feels any remorse, even now, even when he's in the belly of the freaking beast, if you feel like he feels any remorse, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like he does feel remorse. If you don't feel like he gives a damn and he's just a narcissist and only give a damn about himself, put a 2 in the chat. If you feel like he feels remorse, put a 1 in the chat. If you feel like he just don't give a damn, put a 2 in the chat. I don't think he give a damn. I just think he just give a damn about getting out so he can get back to doing what he was doing before his ass got locked up. That's what I think. He played on their dreams. Yes, he did. He went from hole to hole, just nasty. Straight up, he did. The way things are now, I'm scared for my kids when I have them to become teenagers. Man, T-Bam, I listened to Dame Dash story, and it's kind of weird. And it kind of makes you think about some things he allegedly claimed she told him. Atmos, you are the man. We love you. I love y'all too. I appreciate you, sir, baby. Thank you. TM Heron said, that's what I was about to say, Atmos. I think he couldn't get Faith like that because of how and by she was raised. Exactly. She was raised by some excellent parents. Someone sent Bonjean a tweet telling her to stop playing with those people. She knows R. Kelly doesn't have a snowball chance in hell, so when acquittal or a new trial. Yeah, that's true. Hey, that's true. She is playing with them damn people. Cotton Candy, right? I don't think her plane crash was an accident. That was so sad, y'all. What's up, Natty Boo? That's why they didn't leave. He messed up their minds, right? The freak king is soulless. He gotta be. RSK filled their heads with BS about their family, about love. Let me see. McGill said, Jazzy, don't hate him. That gives him power over you, and he doesn't know you. Hate is a sin. Don't put yourself in the place of needing to ask RSK for forgiveness because of doing. Yeah. He's an idiot. He's a straight idiot. You don't gotta hate him. He Stockholm syndrome is a form of survival, indeed. I hate what he did to them girls. Some people qualify love as hurt. Let me see. What the F is a teenage adult? I hate when he say that. Yeah, adult teenager is what Levi lives by. Right. What is a teenage adult? He's using that the way of not accepting what RK. Absolutely, Chocolate 82467. That's what he uses to cover the fact there's not such thing as teenage adults. That's his words. That's what he says. Kayla Doe said, hey, Atmos, I'm late. Are you coming back later or did you already finish? I already finished. I'm going to let some other bloggers have some airtime. If they were all 18 and 19 years old, we wouldn't be here. Indigo, thank you. If they were all 18 and 19, we would not be here. Absolutely right. Saying one, hey, what's up? I hope some of his handlers, a lot of them need to go down too, because I am team victims, but he didn't do this alone. Yep, you're right. He's had some help. Cotton Cat said, I don't hate him at all. If he gets another chance, then it's only in God's hands. I can't decide his fate. Yeah, he ain't getting no other chance. You can rest assured of that. In the words of RSK, when you say teenage, how old you talking about? Julie, you silly. You right though. Black Diamond, hey, how are you? I will buy some of her music. Yes, listen, Lady K music is off the chain, y'all. If you have not heard her music, that's my wife. For you, those of y'all that don't know my wife, her name is Lady K, Lady Crystal. Lady K is her stage name, but you go to her website, Lady Ladi Crystal KRYSTAL.com. You can get some of her music, and her music is off the chain. And it's pretty reasonable right now. Yup, we bust him upside the head and escorted him to the door. Man, look, let me see. I had a question When does the Chicago trial start again? When does it start, y'all? Is it August or May? I don't know exactly off the top of my head. I think it's in maybe August. I'm not for sure. Okay, I got a whole bunch of twos, so he don't give a damn. No, he thinks he is God. Speaking of DJ pathetic piece. Oh, I got you. Okay. 2. Why would he feel remorse? He doesn't think that he's done anything wrong. You're right. The end result, he's not getting out. So I'll start ordering the straight jackets and Cesada for his fans. Absolutely. Doris said 2 billion. Whew. All right, another 2. The only remorse he feels is for himself. Damn, that's true. He is just the devil. Look, y'all. I am on record as saying that man has an anointed voice, but what is behind that voice and what he does because of that voice and the type of the way he uses his voice to feed his demons is crazy. Think about it. Dekayla, 1962. Hello. No, he feels no remorse. If he did, he would not be proclaiming his innocence. Absolutely. No, I take that back. He feels remorse of being caught, but nothing for the girls. Okay, that makes sense. Tate said there is no such thing as teenage adult. Out brains are fully formed or developed until we are 25. He should stop the wordplay and just say they were legal. Right. Canic was supposed to be the mechanic to fix everything. Y'all know when the Chicago trial starts? When does Chicago start? He did messed up. I think it's August. I could be wrong. August. Yeah. There we go. August, I think the 20th. Okay. Miss Shirley said, F the devil trying to take as many souls with him. Yep. Sentencing is in May. His Chicago trial, I believe, starts in August, right? Okay, thanks, guys. Her voice is heavenly. Thank you, Take. I appreciate it. Oh, we got the spam video, hot girl people in here. I know y'all got rid of that. I think y'all did. Yeah, I think y'all did. The feds gave immunity to some. Can the enablers be convicted in a state case? Good question. I'm going to look up the date now. I'll be right back. It's in August. Okay, K-Love92, it's in August. She's saying gospel music. Yes, she does. She's a gospel singer. Let me see. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe, please. Sentencing in New York is in May. Aisha said August is when Chicago starts. Life's Whisper says, I love R. Kelly. That's what's up. Listen, Life Whisper. Believe it or not, we don't hate R. Kelly. I don't hate R. Kelly. I got to love him as a brother. I just hate some of his actions and what he's done. The same way God hates our actions, but he still forgives us, but he hates the sin. So you got to love the person, right? Because I believe that, that he has potential if he allows God to come into his life and he gets away from those demonic things, that God can do something major in his life. But dude got a long way to go. He got a long way to go. T-Bam, that's what I want to know. Life Whisperer said, them people sold their children and their selves. Okay, all right, that's your opinion. Indigo said, K-Love92 says, I may stuck in my head. Thanks for reminding me. It's stuck in your head. Okay. He thinks he's a genius. The truth is in the building. What's up, the truth? How you doing? Okay, so everybody saying August is when the trial starts in Chicago. Cool story. LLW. He spent decades praying and abusing 12 to 17-year-old kids, which is illegal, right? Shawty said, how many years do you think Ann Donnelly will give RK? I'm thinking. Ooh. I'm thinking he gonna get at least from Ann Donnelly alone. My guess, I'm thinking definitely between 25 and 40. And I think that's a slap on the wrist. That's just my opinion. He definitely getting, I think 20, they say 25 years is a life sentence by itself. So I think that she's going to make sure that he can never, ever abuse, molest, rape, or take advantage of another young lady again for the rest of his life. That's just my opinion, though. I'm not the judge or jury. That's what I think, right? No, baby. It says he goes to court in Chicago on August 1st. Okay. Indigo said, Life Whisperer, are you saying he paid for another human being? Now, who is the most beautiful? Who was the most beautiful musical angel? It was Satan. It was Lucifer. There you go, Doris. There you go. Shawty, Reginaire got 125 with adults and a lot less evidence. So hopefully he gets the max. There you go. It doesn't at all. Life, not even close. This goes along with dozens of videos and pictures of Rob abusing kids. Right. August 1st, to be exact, is the start of the Chicago trial. Okay. Indigo, Life Whisperer, he targets young teenagers for a reason because they do not know better. Okay. Life Whisperer says, no, I don't feel like R. Kelly paid for anything. I feel like these peoples, oh boy, there we go. Peoples, okay. Parents were receiving money from R. Kelly for whatever reason. I mean, if you just go back and look up on Azriel, whatever. Okay. Just V says, I love R. Kelly music. A lot of us still love some of his music. I hate what he did. Yeah, we all anybody that's a parent should hate what he did. You may not hate him as a person, but anyone that's a parent, and if you take these young ladies out and substitute and put your kids in that place where somebody just take your kid, tell you to trust the process, tell you that you're never gonna see your child, you would hate what he did too. Just saying. T-Band 1 said, Life's Whisperer, they both were adults. These are kids. There you go. Life Whisperer said her name is her father was actively tweeting R. Kelly trying to get his attention on her behalf. You got to look into the history. I'm a white woman. No, when they get to put a black man down. Oh gosh. Okay. Listen, if you ever want to know the pet peeve of Atmos, the pet peeve is when people say you're trying to tear the black man down. When it comes to R. Kelly, give me a freaking break. This man got off, beat, obstructed the case in 2008 and got the hell off. Okay. If there was ever a time that you could say they were not trying to tear the black man down, it was when he had video evidence right there showing him on the video with Rashada. Okay. So for him to get off of that or beat that case or whatever, obstructed, whatever, however you want to disclaim it, and do the same shit right after that. And now we here with a whole new group of new victims. Like, really? And you said, I'm a white woman. No, when they try to put a black man that, okay, y'all, I'm starting to think you a troll, Life's Whisperer. You got to be a damn troll. I love Lady K's voice. Y'all need to check her out, seriously. Man, yes, y'all do. And I want him in jail, but that's where he belongs. I don't want him in jail, but that's where he belongs. He has to be held accountable. No, I want his ass in jail. I want him away from kids, period. Life Whisperer, if her parents received money, they would be guilty of extortion. There you go, Indigo. There you go. Shaw Baby once said, I have never been a fan at all, but I don't hate him. Right. Life's Whisperer, why didn't the defense prove that in court? Good question. Good question. Tate said, Life, cool story. What money did they get? What about the 12 to 17-year-olds? Okay. And with a grown man, fucking kids, because their parents were shady. Is that what you're saying? Life Whisperer says, and okay, now depending on how crazy this, I haven't read it yet, but this is gonna determine if you got to go to your another residence. Life Whisperer. Maybe you'll be okay. We'll see. I don't know if any of y'all realize R. Kelly's history, but I will give props to the man because he created my whole childhood with his music. His music is sprinkled all throughout my life. Well, Life's Whisperer, do you have any children? Do you have any daughters? And would you allow your 17 or 14 or 15 or 16-year-old daughter to be with R. Kelly? Or if your 14, 15, 16-year-old daughter, Life Whisperer, said, Mom, can I go visit R. Kelly? Would you, knowing what you know or knowing what you don't want to believe, would you let your daughter go be with R. Kelly with knowing the allegations of what he's been accused? And now we got to take accused away, and it's not alleged anymore. He has been convicted of these things. So would you allow your child to go with him? White Whisper, I would like to hear your response. Kayla Doe says, they say Judge Ann doesn't play when it comes to sentencing. Rockin', I got my CD and I love it. Man, that's awesome. Nettie Boo said, Life Whisperer, please, we read it all and still reading. You go back and look and try to get unconfused. Indigo said, judge say they have to prove extortion. There is no evidence of money being paid to parents. Right. Life Whisperer said, you're going to take R. Kelly and give us Tupac back. Okay. I'm aware that's lyrics off of a damn Joyner song. But let me tell you something. Tupac ain't real. He never was. He was industry plant. Just V said, Life, that's just music. What about you turn it off? What about when you turn it off? Sam One said he needs to just do life. I wish you could give him 20. I wish you could do 25 million years. Oh, wow. Creating your whole childhood doesn't change the fact that he married a 15-year-old and had sex with and abused 12 to 17-year-olds for decades. Boom. Auntie Ann is giving him all the years. She is tired of him and Bonjean. Life Whisper, I cannot sit up here and judge anybody, for I live in a glass house and I'm too busy sweeping off my doorstep, so I don't have time to see what other people have going on at theirs. And the problem I have with these younger girls, their lives is messed up forever. There's no way they could come out of this trance. And they're in this. This is sick. Life Whisper said, let me ask y'all a question. Y'all screaming R. Kelly guilty. Let's talk about Bill Cosby and what he did. Is that right? Just saying, we're not a Bill Cosby channel, Life Whisper. You probably want to go somewhere else to talk about that. Take Billie Jean is digging his hole deeper because the government is dragging out more evidence to refute her assertions. Life Whisperer, good for you. Here you are. We stand for victims and the truth. There you go. I hate his action, but I don't hate him as a person. You reap what you sow. His lack of remorse will get him 25 to life. I agree. I'm not even a parent. I just have a soft spot for children. I think they should be protected at all costs. Jazzy cuteness, I totally agree with you. Atmos roll eyes. I know, right? Cotton Candy said, I believe he will get a new trial because on all the interference at best, because the law must not violate one right for its clear evidence of violations. That's a fact. Cotton Candy, I love you, but he ain't getting no new trial. I don't see it. It isn't about Bill Cosby. Don't deflect. Why are you talking about? Why aren't you talking about the 12 to 17-year-olds he raped and abused for decades? That's what it's about. Stay on topic. There you go. Race has nothing to do with it other than he abused black girls. Thank you. Life Whisperer said, I've never seen photos, not saying they don't exist. I never seen them. Life Whisperer, I'm starting to wonder what planet you from, because I don't want to hear it, Life Whisperer, right? If they were trying to tear the black man down, why not go after someone like Jay-Z or Dre, who are worth billions? There you go. Good question. Life Whisperer, Bill abused adults and RK abused children. There is a difference. Good point. Wait, Tupac wasn't a real person? What's happening here? I don't know. Life Whisperer. Why would you, unless you were on the jury? T-Man 1. Life Whisperer, you only focus on Az and her parents. What about the other victims and Jane Doe's? Sorry, Atmos got kicked off. It's okay. Cotton Candy. Just afford any man, woman fair trial. It's only right. He had a fair trial, Cotton Candy. It wasn't nothing wrong with his trial. He had a very fair trial. He put himself down. He did this, not the parents. He a grown-ass man. Exactly. He had the right. He had to listen. When people try to say that they act like y'all act like something, his supporters act like, even though we give the Clarice the side eye, right? We know that they did not go up to R. Kelly with an AK-47 and say, fuck our daughter. He made the decision to do everything he decided to do. Even when she told him over and over, no, I'm not here for that. Are you sure? No, I'm not here to please you. He still found a way by pressuring her, coercing her, telling her, if you just let me eat your ass, I'll take care of you for the rest of your life. She said, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for you to take care of me. I am here to audition, to get some information from you so I can know if you think I have what it takes to be successful. That's all I'm here for. Not for you to eat my ass, not for you to give me herpes, not for you to fuck me, not for you to lie to me, not for you to beat me, not for you to mistreat me, not for you to make me write false letters, not for you to make me write false texts, not for you to... I'm just saying. Kayla Doe said, Cotton, what about the trial? Was it fair in your opinion? Yeah. Take said, what kind of person would blame their child for being abused? He is not convicted for his music. No, he not. I wouldn't have my dog with R. Kelly. Preach at me. So I'm just keeping it real. He is a convicted sex offender. Yes, please like, share, subscribe. Thanks in advance. If you want to hit the Cash App, $ this blessed house, all blessings are appreciated. If you look at the bottom, I also have Tanya's down there, $ Hotmail 78. I appreciate y'all. Rockin' Robin said, an adult sleeping with and abusing minors is illegal and never okay. He manipulated them mentally, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. F out of here. Life's Whisperer said, I'm a troll. And you know what, Life's Whisperer? I believe you completely. Thank you for being honest. Life Whisperer said, please, I'm aware. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's get them on extortion. Life Whisperer, get some, get some gone. Jazzy Cuteness says, you can like the music and not like what he did. Exactly. Life Whisperer, you are aware he abused young black girls, right? Take back Life Whisperers, give back Flim Flam. Where's Flim Flam? Yeah, I miss Flim Flam, man. Where's Flim Flam? I think that might be Flim Flam. Just got a different account, a different name, right? Life Whispers, there was no money exchanged. 25 to life, I think. That's what I'm thinking. Decala 1962 said, I predict the Chicago federal case will become a RICO that will include enablers and bloggers, obstruction of justice, and terrorism as predicate acts. Those letters and phone calls will seal it. Okay. Jazzy Cuteness says the abuse of the young ladies was part of my childhood as well. T-Bell 1 said, then why are you here, Life Whisperer? Go sweep around your door. Right. She's a troll. Right. She said she was a troll. At least whoever it is, honest. Life Whisperer could be a man or woman. But she say she's a white woman who is here because she's tired of people tearing down a black man. Okay. Let me see. So Life's answer is, I'm okay with a grown man preying on and abusing 12 to 17-year-old kids. Got it. Just say that and stop the bull. Right. Life Whisperer, he would have been at your 6th or 7th grader school before you got there. Life Whisperer, why are you here? I just told my husband, Annie Ann will never let back on these streets. He is a danger. Yeah, she ain't gonna never let him get back on these streets. Listen, can y'all imagine? Just think about this for a minute. Think about it for a minute. Can you imagine him getting off and being right back in court for doing the same damn thing again? Can you imagine? Like, no, it's not gonna happen. Why would you want to see them? Right, the pictures, right. No new trial. There will not be a new trial, y'all. I don't give a damn what nobody say. There will not be a new trial. He will not get acquitted. It's just not there. The government has proven their case super tight. Judge Ann helped the defense doing. Yes, she did, Indigo. She helped them a lot. She told them, what are y'all doing? Y'all hurting your client doing this dumb stuff. She did. We read it. Don't pay attention to nonsense in the chat. It's mumbo jumbo. Indeed. Shawty said Bill Cosby admit he did wrong. RFK want to lay the blame on everybody else. Yep. Rob's fans always want to blame kids for doing stuff, but never want to blame the grown-ass man for doing the same thing for decades. I love you too, Atmos. You so humble, but I strongly believe he has a shot at a new trial. His emails were violated. His right to proper counsel violated. There is much more. We'll see. I just think that when it comes to the government's evidence, all the stuff with the emails and stuff, that got nothing to do with the government. The stuff with the bloggers and all that kind of stuff got nothing to do with the government. The government's job was to prove that on the charges that he was accused of, that he was proven guilty. And my stance is that everything that they brought in, other than the two things with the kidnapping and the rape of Sonya, he was found guilty on those things. So he was found guilty by a group of his peers, and jurors that he chose that he thought would you know, at least have one person that will say, oh no, he's not guilty. And the fact is that the government proved their case. He was evicted on all 9 charges. So it's kind of hard to see that being overturned. It's just my opinion. I don't know. Rocco with the Truth said it's called adult accountability for your actions. He did the crime and now he must do the time. The end. There we go. Indigo said promise of a music career, oldest trick. It worked for him for 30 years. It stopped now. Yep. Caleb, just another buzzard troll. What up, fat boy? What up? What up? What up? What's up, brother? Let me see here. Thanks in advance. Yep. Thank y'all in advance. Some perjury was acknowledged. A jury withheld info. Parts of his constitutional rights were violated. I think it was written 200 years ago. You talking about the Mann Act thing? Yeah, I know. It's a lot of different arguments. Like I said, all those things are outside of what the government was able to prove. You know, they proved their case. At least she admitted it. Fat boy said, my white queens don't act like that. A white woman who hates black girls, apparently. I think he may get 30 years. You know what, Aisha? I'm thinking between 25 and 30. Some people think about 960 million years he'll get. The government did a remarkable job. No new trial. I don't see a new trial, y'all. I think the whisperer is J-Bo. Cotton Candy, what perjury? What juror withheld info? Where are you getting this stuff? Cotton Candy said, I don't believe he will escape serving time, but he may get a new trial nonetheless. It's possible. You know what? He is going to get a new trial, Cotton Candy. He's going to get a new trial that starts in Chicago. A brand new trial. So you got a point. You know, you're actually right, Cotton Candy. He's going to get a new trial. It's just going to be in Chicago. Bonjean, I see that. What's her name? What was her name? White Whisperer or Cotton? What was it? Whisperer didn't answer that question about if they had a daughter. Would you have your daughter around R. Kelly at 14, 15, 16 if they wanted to be a singer? I see that person didn't answer the question. Yeah, they didn't answer that, did they? RSK convicted himself. Old trial, new trial will make no difference and will happen. Fake ass, aka fans describe Rob fans perfectly. K-Love92 said, yep, he produced the evidence against himself. He did. Let me see. His rights were only violated if you listen to Debo or JoJo, who cherry pick the parts they want to acknowledge, and Andy, who enables that mess. Oh boy. Kayla Doe said, Auntie is not gonna overturn many, if any, of her own rulings. People read, and she's definitely not going to agree to a new trial. I don't see it. I don't care about the bloggers. They are non-factors in this indictment. What's more important is a person's rights under the Constitution. Yes, fat boy. Cotton Candy. He can have another trial and waste taxpayers' money to only be found guilty again. He slept with minors, created child porn, and instructed others to conduct illegal activities. Boom. Doris McGill said, oh, Lord, I forgot for a second that Tasha K mixed herself into this too. Yeah. Yeah, she did. Let me see here. Tate said, Cotton Candy, his rights weren't violated. You never answered me. What perjury? What was withheld? In Chicago. Yeah, he gonna get a new trial in Chicago, y'all. Cotton Candy, sweet and go. Let me see you Tootsie Roll. Y'all silly. What's up, Travis Sloan? Atmos, Kelly, still getting out on Good Friday. Right. Oh, he getting 2 new trials. He getting 1 new trial in Chicago, and then he gonna get another new trial in Minnesota if it goes in Minnesota. I think Chicago gonna be that's gonna be the hammer though. Take said anything is possible. R. Kelly going to walk out of jail and walk into prison. 2 new trials. Yeah, he's going to get 3 new trials. Illinois, Fed, State, and Minnesota. There you go. So Cotton Candy, you might get your wish. She said he would never. Oh, she said she would have her daughter around any man, but not your daughter 24/7. Man, look. I'm a Queen Newton said they are not letting him out when they're questioning the candidate for Supreme Court. What she feel about pedophilia. Rock with the Truth said the dog whisperer might be Levi. Never answered. No, Levi wouldn't type nothing as ignorant as she did. She was all over the place talking about being a white woman. And come on, man. I love people. I love white people. I got white fans. I got black, Puerto Rico, Mexican, everything up in here. But Life's Whisperer's back. She says Dr. Phil has tons of footage of R. Kelly accusers, but refuses to air it because of the deception of the lack of truth. Life Whisperer, can you answer my question? Like R. Kelly will be free. Watch. Okay, Life Whisperer, if you don't answer my question, I've read your comments. I've gave you some airtime, and everyone else has talked to you. Now I'm gonna ask you one more time, and if you don't give me the answer to that question on if you would allow your daughter around R. Kelly with everything you know at 14, 15, 16, or 17, around him by themselves, by herself, by himself, I want to hear that answer, please. And if I can't get that answer, then I'm going to have to give you a new residence, because right now you're just trolling my chat and just being ignorant. Okay? So let me see how you want to handle this. All right? We're going to see. Indigo said, Life Whisperer, why are you here? Right. Start to get agitated. Chicago's trial is going to wrap it up. Dr. Phil would have given the info to the government if really innocent. Ride. I'm not with my daughter 24/7, but I have are the necessary tools she will need to use to decipher whether she's in a good situation or not. Right. I'm not with my daughter 24/7, but I have are the necessary tools she need to decipher. Okay, so Life Whisper, I want to know for you as a parent, would you allow your daughter around R. Kelly at 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17 with how much you love him, how much you love his music? He's sprinkled all across your life. I want to know if you would allow your daughter, based on the allegations that you obviously feel like are not true, would you allow your daughter to be with R. Kelly by herself without your involvement? Yes or no? T-Bam says, and the trials will keep coming because they still verify and find more evidence a long way from hopefully. Yep. Dr. Phil is not a court of law. Dr. Phil is not legit. Please go somewhere. Thank you, T-Baby, for that super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Life Whisperer said, I'm here to put anybody down, but I see that this is what this platform is about. I haven't called anybody any names or made any sarcasm. I'm just stating my opinions. You've been very sarcastic, but okay. Okay. All right. So you still haven't answered my question, Life Whisperer. Dr. Phil is a mandated reporter. He would turn any info into the authorities. Levi already talking in circles after Chicago. He gonna blame the terrorists for bringing their minors. To get airtime, I'm just stating my opinions. But Life Whisperer, don't come here victim blaming. You will find you better find somebody else to play with. Exactly. Take she was about to hold as testimony trashed. As for the what was withheld, the text messages, some things the jurors weren't privy to. I've answered that question. No, you said that. No, I asked you. So you hold on. So your answer is yes. So you said that you would give your daughter the tools to know if she was in a bad situation. That was what you said. So you said you would allow your kid around R. Kelly, your daughter at 13, 14, 15, 16, or 17. That was the answer. Life Whisperer, she can't decipher anything if her communication is taken away from her. All right, y'all hold on. What's up, man? Yeah, what's up? What's up? What's up? What? Go ahead. I'm here. What do you need? Okay, I'm almost off. All right, bye. Okay, y'all. All right, Life Whisperer. I think I'm gonna let you slide for the day. Troll in your chat. You're not even anybody. I'll go ahead and remove myself because this platform is trash. How I will go over to my main page where I have over 1 million followers. Okay, Life Whisperer. Have fun. Thank you for coming over. She said, blast, you will see what 1 million followers can do to your platform. Okay, Life Whisperer. Have a great day. Bye. Y'all welcome. Give Life Whisperer a welcome into the door. Y'all know. Send her to give her a lift back to her 1 million followers on her channel, please. Okay, let's agree 70%, 30%, no new trial. What you think? Talking to text. That's why my messages are choppy. Okay. All right. Sam 1, she's not going to answer that question because I don't think she would put herself out there like that and allow her daughter to be around a man like this. Answer the question. Right. I think you're right. Maybe that's okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Jazzy Cuteness. Thank you. Okay, great. All right, y'all. Hold on. This is not about love. I'm not Satan. I'm just stating. Well, Life Whisperer, you're not stating facts. You're stating, like you just said, your opinion. Okay, your opinion is welcome over here, but think that is really not the direct question you should be asking. What parents didn't allow their 13 and 14-year-olds around R. Kelly? That's who you need to be questioning. Okay, you deflected now. All right. So y'all check this out. I'm about to get out of here. Okay, thank you. Be blocked to be blessed. All right, listen, y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank y'all for coming over. Y'all make sure y'all watch the replay if you haven't seen it. Hit the like button on the way out of here. And I love y'all. I'll be back tomorrow to finish the rest. Me and Tanya, if she can join me tomorrow, we only got about 31 pages to go. We will knock it out and finish it up, okay? Thank y'all so much. I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. All right? Peace out.
Oh, 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 no.
I don't need negative energy, wrap me in positive synergy. I have been doubted through life, been there and done that with trifling people who told me my style would not work. I told them they wrong, they're struggling too long. This song is for you, I'm proving you wrong.
Get out my way, get out my way, get out my way, get out my way.
I'm a genuine person. Like if I love you, I love you. If I don't mess with you, I don't mess with you. It's as simple as that.